Never stop reading the Bible.
We're going to be breaking down the core message from chapters 7, 8, and 9 of the book of Hebrews. Now, this is a really rich text that builds this incredible case for a huge shift in how we understand faith and sacrifice.
So here's the roadmap. It all kicks off with the need for a superior priest. Then we'll see how that kind of priest needs a new covenant or agreement. And that agreement, it's sealed by one perfect sacrifice. After that, we'll get into the legal reason that mediator had to die. And finally, we'll pull it all together and see how these pieces just lock into place. All right, let's jump in.
Okay, so the whole argument starts with a pretty radical idea, that the old system of priests, well, it wasn't the final answer. The author here argues that for any kind of real spiritual perfection to be possible, a completely new and superior kind of priest was needed.
You see, on one hand, you've got the Levitical priesthood. We know them. It's all based on family, right? Passed down through the line of Aaron. But on the other hand, you have this mysterious, much older figure, Melchizedek. His priesthood isn't based on a family tree at all. In fact, the text describes him as being without a father or a mother or any genealogy, which is really a way of symbolizing this eternal quality he has. Now, the logic used to prove Melchizedek is superior is just fascinating. It's a simple four-step argument. So Abraham, the father of the whole nation, gives a tithe to Melchizedek. That's an act of acknowledging a higher authority, right? But here's the brilliant move. The argument says that since the future Levitical priests were, descendants of Abraham, they were symbolically present inside him. So in a way, they also paid tithes to Melchizedek. And boom, that establishes Melchizedek's priestly order as the higher, more foundational one.
And this leads us to a really critical question that the text itself brings up. If the old system was working just fine, if the Levitical priesthood could bring people to perfection, then why on earth would you need to introduce a whole new order? The very fact that there is a new kind of priest implies the first system just couldn't get the job done.
And that flows right into the next piece of the puzzle. It just makes sense, right? If you've got a new kind of priest, well, he's got to operate under a new kind of agreement, a better covenant. The logic here is just totally straightforward. If the first agreement, the first covenant, was perfect and did everything it was supposed to do, there'd be absolutely no reason to bring in a second one. The very promise of a new covenant is basically a critique of the old one. And when you compare them, the differences are just stark. The old covenant, it operated in an earthly sanctuary, basically a physical copy of the real thing in heaven, and it was mediated by mortal men. But the new covenant, it's based in the true heavenly sanctuary, it's mediated by Christ himself, and it's founded not on us trying to obey the law, but on a promise directly from God. The result? Something perfect and eternal.
And this is what ties it all together so brilliantly. The argument is that these three things have to match. A priest from an eternal order, like Christ, couldn't just serve in a temporary earthly system. No, he has to minister within a better covenant and in the true heavenly sanctuary. This new agreement, which was promised way back when, basically makes the first one obsolete.
So this whole logical train of thought is now reaching its climax, the sacrifice itself. Because a superior priest and a better covenant, they're still incomplete without that one final crucial piece, a perfect sacrifice.
The entire idea really can be boiled down to this one powerful number, 1. Instead of an endless cycle of offerings and rituals, this new system is all defined by a single, powerful, all-sufficient act.
Think about it. Under the old system, the high priest had to go into the most holy place year after year, offering the blood of animals. It was this constant, repetitive reminder of sin that could never really make a person feel whole. The new system? It's a total game changer. Christ, our new high priest, enters the heavenly sanctuary just once, and he's not offering animal blood. He's offering his own perfect blood, securing a redemption that lasts forever, for everyone.
But this brings up another important question. Why was the death of this mediator, this new high priest, absolutely necessary for the new covenant to even work? So, to explain this, the text uses this fantastic legal analogy that we can all totally get. Think of this new covenant like a last will and testament. A will, it's just a piece of paper with promises on it as long as the person who wrote it is still alive, right? The inheritance, the terms, all of it, it only comes into force after the person who made the will has died.
So you see, Christ's death wasn't just some tragic historical event. According to this argument, it was the required legal action that put the new covenant, with all of its incredible eternal promises, into full effect. His death is what validated the whole thing.
Okay, so let's bring all these threads together now. We've talked about the priest, the covenant, and the sacrifice. How do they all fit together to give us one complete picture?
Well, the key takeaway here is that you just can't pull these ideas apart. They form one seamless argument. It starts with a superior priest from an eternal order. That priest mediates a better covenant that's based on God's promise. He then offers himself as the one perfect sacrifice. And finally, his death is what legally enacts that covenant for all time. See how it all connects?
It all comes down to this simple, powerful idea: a better priest, a better covenant, and a better sacrifice. Each part is an upgrade, leading to a perfect, final, and eternal solution. So, we'll leave you with a question to think about. How does really getting this argument change things? I mean, what does it mean for your faith to shift its focus from temporary, repetitive rituals to a permanent, once-for-all, heavenly reality? It's a huge shift, and definitely a powerful thought to carry with you.
Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer. The source for this material is the Center Studio.